Hello there guys, welcome to another of my live videos, and today I'm just be officially updating you on some more current transfer rumours and gossip as we always do on this current channel, giving you the latest news of course and what players are linked with Manchester United. So as I've been updating you throughout the course of this week, obviously I've been giving the latest news of course of what players and that have been linked with Manchester United, and of course I have been giving you my opinions on what players that Manchester United of course should bring in. But we do know so far this summer, we have got two players on the board. Obviously, it's our first two signings under the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer era. Obviously, we've got Daniel James in for £18 million. Obviously, we've got Wan-Bissaka in a deal with around £50 million. That's taken Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's net spend up to around £65 million this summer. If you want to include the add-ons, it's probably taking it up to around £68 million. But for the entirety of this window so far, we have been mainly focusing on the incomings. But I think we also need to focus more on selling players, to help us generate funds and of course rebuild the squad, because we do need to revitalise the squad and all that. And Ole Gunnar Solskjaer of course is still in the process of rebuilding. Allegedly, we've only been given £100 million to spend. Don't forget, obviously it came out about this a couple of weeks ago. It provided a reason why it said we'd only been given £100 million to spend, because obviously we're not in a Champions League football for next season, and Champions League football is always very pivotal, of course. Champions League football is always very pivotal, especially when you want to get your number one targets, and it's also very pivotal when you do want to convince your imperative players to stay at your football club. But the reason why I said we'd only been given £100 million because we're not in a Champions League football for next season. But I thought initially we'd been given around £200 million to spend, but £100 million isn't enough to address the deficiencies in the squad, and obviously it isn't enough for us to bring the number of players that we do want in. But Ole Gunnar Solskjaer did say, was it a month or so ago, that he wants to bring at least 5 new additions to the squad. I did say to you on Monday I expect Manchester United to complete 2 signings this week. Obviously my hopes have currently gone out of the window. Maybe Manchester United won't even make 1 signing this week, but Solskjaer did say from his own perspective he wants us to get 1 signing on the board before we do go on pre-season tour in Australia, and I think we do go on pre-season tour tomorrow and all that. But yeah, Solskjaer, now that he's got 2 players on the board who want to build on that, and now I do believe his priorities of course are to get a central defender in, because we've got issues defensively, and he'll also want to add reinforcements of course in that midfield. So there is still lots to address in his squad. Obviously Ole Gunnar Solskjaer wants to build a squad worthy of the club's history, and as you all know, he's a follower. He believes he's following a policy that proved successful under Alex Ferguson, and his policy of course is getting the pursuit of young players, because Solskjaer wants to develop a squad of young, hungry, homegrown talent and all that. But yeah, as I've been updating you on a regular basis though, in regards to Harry Maguire. Now, I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer now has identified him as his number one defensive target and all that. And Harry Maguire has been relentlessly, linked to move to Manchester United. Now, I've just been reading more additional information about Harry Maguire, and Sir Alex Ferguson has come out and he's basically instructed, that Manchester United, should sign Harry Maguire, because I think he would be the right, type of player for Manchester United, because, his defensive abilities are very, very good. He shows that ability to play out of the back. He's also very, very good in the air. He isn't really fast, but I don't think that's much an issue. And we've got to get Solskjaer's after getting an experienced centre half in, because we haven't had a world class central defender, since we had the likes of Vidic, and of course since we had the likes of Ferdinand. And Vidic and Ferdinand were a fantastic partnership, back under the Alex Ferguson era. But we've got to get a central defender in. Some people have said it's more essential that we get a couple of midfielders in and the right winner. So there's probably some people believe that's more essential than bringing a centre half in. But I think that central defensive area is one of the areas where Manchester United of course have got a bolster up, and we need someone that can go alongside Victor Lindelof in our back line. But anyway, so Alex Ferguson has said Manchester United should sign Harry Maguire. I think we are now in pole position to sign Harry Maguire. It did say earlier on this week that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer had asked the British players in our squad about their thoughts on Harry Maguire, because obviously the likes of Rashford and Lingard and Young and Jones and Smalling and all that are obviously going to know about Harry Maguire, because obviously they're British, and of course Harry Maguire is British, and I think Solskjaer did get positive feedback about Harry Maguire. So I think now we've identified him as our number one defensive target. Obviously reports are suggested out earlier on this week. Obviously Manchester United we'd upped our offer for him. This came from Sky Sports, saying that Manchester United had put a £70 million bidding for Harry Maguire. Obviously this was too insufficient for Leicester, because I think Leicester are looking for somewhere in the region of around £80 million. Some reports are speculating saying they want around £90 million, but I think they want at least £75 million do Leicester and all that. But looking at it, ultimately, Leicester don't want to sell Harry Maguire, and this is the main factor reason why they've priced him out of the transfer market, and of course this is why they are demanding an extortionate amount. So I think if Man United can come to an agreement on the deal, I do presume it will make him the most expensive defender in world football, ahead of Liverpool's Virgil van Dijk, who of course Liverpool paid £75 million for. But I don't think he's in Van Dijk's calibre or level, Harry Maguire, but I still think he's regarded as one of the best centre-halves in the Premier League without a shadow of a doubt. Done really, really good for England. Harry Maguire, of course, has still got a lot of years ahead of him. He's only 26 years of age. Obviously, he has been at Leicester a couple of seasons, but it is Manchester United and Manchester City, of course, that are battling out for his services. Sky Sports also mentioned this week that talks have been ongoing, between both Manchester clubs and Leicester, for several weeks, but no deal or no fee yet has come to any kind of agreement and all that. Obviously, reflecting back the other week, it was looking like City were going to get a deal over the line for Harry Maguire. This came from TalkSport the other week. It did say City were set to sign him for the world record fee of £80 million. It did say City were willing to pay him a salary of around 280 grand a week, but I think negotiations of it are stumbling blocking up between Manchester City and Leicester, because obviously Manchester City are reluctant, to meet what Leicester are currently demanding. So I think now this is why we are in pole position to sign. So I think we are confident, we can outbid Manchester City for his services. Obviously, I do believe Harry Maguire's preference is a move to Manchester City, because probably wants to go to Manchester City because obviously they're the dominant force in England at the moment. Obviously, they can offer him Champions League football. Manchester United can't offer him Champions League football. And obviously, he's eager to play under Pep Guardiola's guidance, because probably Harry Maguire, believes he'll flourish under Pep Guardiola's guidance and all that. Obviously, Manchester City have identified Harry Maguire as their number one target, to replace Vincent Kompany. I think also Manchester City are considering, offloading Otamendi. So if he does go to Man City, he will be playing alongside John Stones and Laporte and all that. But I think now we have considered the favourites, to currently sign him. Reports came out towards the back end of last week saying that allegedly we'd withdrawn our interest in Harry Maguire, because he allegedly said that Leicester wanted around £100 million. He said they wanted 90 million up front, with 10 million in add-ons. But yeah, very, very good central defender, and I think he will complement, Vince Lindelof in our backline really, really well. I think they blend in really, really well together, and he's proven in the Premier League is Harry Maguire. Like I said, he's been at Leicester 2 seasons, he's exceeded expectation levels, but I think he's indicated out he wants to go to one of the top six clubs, to rejuvenate his career and take his footballing career to the next level. He's played 76 games for Leicester in all competitions, 69 of those appearances have come in the Premier League. He's under contract with Leicester till 2023, because he did sign a new long-term contract last summer. But I think Mike Phelan, of course, who is the assistant of Manchester United, has instructed Manchester United, to get a deal over the line for him, because probably Phelan is keen on reuniting with the player, because obviously Phelan, managed Harry Maguire, during his time with Hull. I think he only had a short tenure with Hull, Mike Phelan, but obviously, Harry Maguire has played under Mike Phelan's guidance, during his time with Hull. I think Harry Maguire was at Hull a couple of seasons, and actually, when he was a youngster, he began his career with Sheffield United and all that. Was a product of their academy. I think he went on to play around 166 games for Sheffield United. But yeah, I'd love Harry Maguire to come to Manchester United. I think probably around £70 million in this market at this day and age is probably, a reasonable figure for Harry Maguire. But I think over the £70 million mark, basically Leicester are asking, for too much. But maybe I think we maybe are just gonna. I think Manchester United probably will, pay what Leicester are demanding, so we can prioritise a transfer for the current player. But it has been mainly Manchester United and Manchester City that have been battling out for his services. Obviously, it came out saying that Arsenal, had inquired about his services, but they'd offered only around £50 million. Obviously, Arsenal themselves are in trouble. Obviously, they've got a tight budget this summer. They've only got around 40 or £45 million to spend. So probably Arsenal themselves will have to sell players to help them generate funds and rebuild their squad. Arsenal have also got issues defensively. So it has been mainly Manchester United and Manchester City that have been battling out for his services. But like, I do believe we are moving away for the policy of signing them well-established players, but we've got to address our defensive deficiencies, because looking at it last season, we conceded 54 goals in the Premier League last season in 38 Premier League games. I think that's our highest total in around 48 years, so that just proves the issues, we have currently got defensively and all that. But like you currently say, I think our expectations going on to this season anyway, will be to finish in the top four. And I think in the next couple of seasons, our aspirations, will be that top four, if I'm going to be quite honest with you. Maybe it's going to be difficult for us to attract players to elite level, like I said, because we're not in a Champions League football and all that. But I think if we're willing to meet what Leicester are demanding, I think Leicester, will offload him to Manchester United. Obviously, Harry Maguire was one of the players that we wanted last summer under the Jose Mourinho era. Obviously, reflecting back last summer, our priority, was to recommend central defender, to come in. But obviously we didn't get as number one targets last summer because the board weren't backing the signs that Jose Mourinho wanted to recommend to come in. And I think last summer, we was willing, to pay a world record fee for the defender. But there's been so many central defenders on our agenda. But I think Leicester said they wanted around £70 million last summer and all that. So hopefully we can get a deal over the line for him. Harry Maguire's notified Leicester anyway, that he does currently want to leave because obviously, he wants to take his footballing career to the next level. And and I think he's regarded as one of the best centre-halves in the Premier League without a shadow of a doubt. Very, very good in the air, so that's very, very beneficial. But like I said, there's been so many other central defenders on our agenda, and quite a few Manchester United fans have said, the vast majority of them have said basically, they believe we need two central defenders because obviously, the likes of Smalling isn't good enough. Jones, of course, isn't good enough. It was bad business for Manchester United, giving them two new long-term contracts. Obviously, Rojo's enjoyed a difficult time at the club. I think Manchester United need to get rid of Rojo. They also need to get rid of Darmian, and I think we can generate around £30 million for their departure. So maybe we do need two central defenders and all that. Some people said we've got Bay, and you know what? Bay is a really, really good central defender. I think his potential's really, really good, and he's good when he's fully fit. He holds his line really, really well. He shows that ability to play out from the back. His distribution's really, really good. He's Eric Bays, but I think his Manchester United career has been badly affected. The amount of injuries he's sustained. Obviously, with his fallout under managers, I think it's had a bad effect on his Manchester United career. I still believe he will be at Manchester United going on into this season, even though the media have been speculating that Arsenal, of course, have inquired about Eric Bays' services. Maybe the club would be open to selling, but I think we probably want to recoup the initial £30 million that we did pay for him from Villarreal back in 2016 and all that. Obviously, I think the Ligt to Manchester United is still possibly on, as I updated you on my previous video. Now, according to recent reports, I've read a bit more additional information now about Matty Ligt. It does reportedly say now that Manchester United and also PSG have agreed transfer fees. Have agreed transfer fees with Ajax for Matty Ligt and all that. Obviously, it indicated out, I think, earlier on this month that he was on the verge of joining Juventus, and he did allegedly say from the Italian press that Juventus had agreed the personal terms with Matty Ligt. But now it reportedly said that negotiations, between Juventus and Ajax have hit a stumbling block. Reportedly. They've hit a stumbling block of talks over the transfer fee and all that, because Juventus and Ajax have not come to an agreement on a transfer fee. I do believe Juventus have made an offer. I think they've offered around £50 million, including add-ons, but obviously this offer is too insufficient for Ajax. I do believe Ajax are looking for somewhere in the region of around £70 million, but reportedly Manchester United are willing to meet what currently Ajax are demanding and all that. So I do believe Ajax and Manchester United is still possibly on, but quite a lot of teams have inquired about his services. He has been subjected to a lot of transfer speculation. Matty Licht's been widely spoken about throughout the course of this window, but it is imminent that he's definitely not going to be leaving Ajax and all that. But I still believe that Matty Licht's preference is a move to Juventus. But are Juventus willing to increase their offer? Don't they want to pay Juventus what Ajax are demanding and all that? But it was looking very, very, very likely he was going to be making a move to Turin. But yeah, Manchester United, of course, are still in there for him. Obviously, he was one of our main priority targets and all that. Obviously, for quite a while, Barcelona were considered the favourites, to currently sign him. Obviously, Barcelona obviously wasn't willing to meet what the Ligt was demanding. They wasn't willing to meet what his agent Raiola, of course, was demanding, and this is the main factor reason why talks had stalled a while back between Barcelona and Ajax and his agent Raiola and all that, because Barcelona were not willing. They basically couldn't come to an agreement on the terms, and this was a stumbling block in negotiations about this. PSG, like I said, are still in there for him. I think it came out about 2 or 3 weeks ago saying that PSG had offered him a 5-year contract worth up to around 340 grand a week. Obviously, it confirmed a while back that they had been talks going on between Matty Licht's agent Raiola and the PSG sporting director over coming to agreement on a deal and all that. Obviously, at one point Liverpool were in for him, but Liverpool are no longer in for him now. Obviously, at one point Manchester City were in for him. Obviously, at one point I think Bayern Munich were in for Matthijs de Ligt. So if Juventus are not willing to meet, Ajax are currently demanding, I think there's a chance Manchester United could get him, or PSG could get him. Maybe Barcelona could still get him, because I do believe that Barcelona are still in there for Matthijs de Ligt. But yeah, like I said, very very good centre half. Only 19 years of age, and I do believe in the next maybe in the next 2 to 3 years, I think Matty still can emulate into like a Virgil van Dijk from Liverpool and all that. Obviously he's had experience under his belt. I think he's had about 2.5 or is it 3 years worth of experience in Ajax's senior squad. But obviously Matty still going to want to leave, because he's going to want to rejuvenate his career. He's going to want to take his footballing career to the next level. I think he's made about 117 senior appearances for Ajax, but like I said, he has been subject to a lot of transfer speculation. Obviously going back, was it a month or maybe even 2 months ago now, he did say, Manchester United had offered him a 350 grand a week contract and all that. And at one point, Matty still, did tell his agent and all that, he was willing to accept our contract offer, because probably he believes it was a contract that was too good to turn down and all that. But obviously 350 grand a week, would make him the highest paid teenager in world football. Also would make him one of their highest paid players, at Manchester United and all that. So we did at one point offer him around 350 grand a week. But I think Matty Still was saying a while back, he wanted to join a club, that could assure him first team football, and definitely Manchester United would be able to assure him first team football. And I think he also did say he wants to join a club that can offer him Champions League football. So yeah, but so we are still in there for Matty Still. It had been speculating, I think. It was in the media speculating yesterday, saying that Manchester United had reached an agreement with Ajax for Matthijs de Ligt and all that. And now it says I think is it in the Sun or the Mirror, whatever, it says Manchester United and PSG have agreed transfer fees with Ajax for Matthijs de Ligt. So basically Manchester United and PSG are willing to pay more than Juventus at the moment. So if Juventus do want to get the deal over the line for him, obviously they're going to have to meet what Ajax are demanding and all that. But like I said, Matthijs de Ligt, very very good player. He's the only defender as well to win the Golden Boy Award. I think he won that last year. But Matty still enjoyed a very, very good season, with Ajax last season. He captained them. I think he got named captain, was it, at the age of 18. I think he made his senior debut for Ajax at the age of 16. But last season enjoyed the good season, because obviously won the domestic double with Ajax last season. Obviously Ajax won the domestic double last season for the first time in 17 years. Also winning the Eredivisie title for the first time since 2014. And of course they progressed to the Champions League semi-final. So Matty Still, of course, can leave Ajax, with his head held up high. But yeah, very, very good centre-half, and I do believe, he would... blending alongside our backline with Victor Lindelof, really, really well. So Matty Still to Manchester United. He's not totally out of the equation at the moment. We are reportedly still in there for him. But obviously... Probably Juventus will hold more talks with Matty Still's agent, because he confirmed the other week that Juventus, were in talks with Matty Still's agent Raiola over coming to an agreement on a fee and all that. But the fee is the stumbling block for Juventus at the moment. He did allegedly say that Matty Still has agreed personal terms with Juventus, and this report suggested that about this earlier on in the month. But yeah, I'd love him to Manchester United, and I love him to come to the Premier League, because I think he'd succeed in the Premier League. He's got all the attributes to definitely succeed in the Premier League and all that. So I'm very, very hopeful, that he can make a move to Manchester United. Barcelona have already got a deal over the line for his current teammate, don't forget. And I think at one point his preference was a move to Barcelona because probably he was keen on reuniting with his teammate Frankie de Jong. But now his preference, of course, is Juventus, as that does mention in the reports about de Ligt. Obviously, there's been other central defenders on our current agenda. Obviously, there's been a lot of talks going on about West Ham's Issa Diop and all that. Now, I do believe he's one of our priority targets, is Issa Diop. And looking at it from a financial point of view, Issa Diop would be a cheaper solution than Harry Maguire. He probably would be a cheaper solution than Koulibaly. I would say now that Koulibaly is out of our agenda. I think he's out of the equation now, is Koulibaly, because I think Napoli are reluctant to offload him. But yeah, with Issa Diop, obviously he's proven in the Premier League. I think Manchester United have been in for him at least in the last couple of weeks. Obviously, he did allegedly say last month that we'd reportedly lodged a bid for Issa Diop, and it reportedly said we'd offered a player plus cash offer. So he said we'd offered around £45 million, plus we'd offered Phil Jones as part of the deal. But West Ham, of course, had instantly turned this bid down, because obviously this bid didn't entertain West Ham. Like I said, last season was his first season in the Premier League with West Ham. I think he played 38 games in all competitions. West Ham did get him last summer from Toulouse for around £22 million. He's only 22 years of age, so he has still got a hell of a lot of development in him. So do you think he'd be the right solution for Manchester United? He's very tall, so he's very good in the air, I do presume. He's a very, very good athlete is Issa Diop. But I think he did say earlier on this week, we are preparing to put our first formal offer in for Issa Diop, and he did say we was willing to offer around £45 million. I think this will be too insufficient for West Ham, because looking at ultimately they don't want to sell him, but I think they are willing, I think if Manchester United were to offer in excess of around £60 million, maybe this would convince West Ham to do business with the player and all that. But Issa Diop doesn't seem a bad player to me, but of course we are still currently tracking him. So yeah, there's been so many centre halves on our agenda. At one point there was talks of Raphael Varane coming. I said to you guys, didn't I knew there wasn't a lot of credibility in Raphael Varane coming to Manchester United. Obviously at one point he did say he was considering leaving Real Madrid and all that, but obviously it got confirmed a while back. Now he's going to be remaining loyal to Real Madrid at least for another season. Don't get me wrong, very, very good central defender is Raphael Varane, but I just knew he wouldn't have come to Manchester United. But yes, been so many central defenders on our agenda. I keep hearing people saying, talking about Toby Alderweireld from Tottenham, but I don't think it's initially in Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's plans, to recommend Toby Alderweireld. I mean, even though he's available for a reasonable figure, he's going to substantially cost us a lot less than Koulibaly, going to substantially cost us a lot less than Harry Maguire and all that. So yeah, he's available for a reasonable figure, and he's also, proven him in the Premier League. That's always very, very beneficial. But I've got reservations about Alderweireld now. His age, he has lost that yard of pace, but he's available for £25 million this summer. But Manchester United, of course, have been in there for him. But like I said, I expect probably around 5 or 6 players to probably leave Manchester United this summer. We do know, of course, that Valencia has left the club. Obviously, he'd served 10 years with Manchester United. Obviously, we do know Ander Herrera's left on a free transfer, so it's very, very essential that we do get a replacement for Ander Herrera. Obviously, with Darmian and Rojo, I think they need to definitely leave. I think probably De Gea is going to be staying now. Probably Juan Mata is going to be staying. Well, Juan Mata is staying now, should I say. With Sanchez, like I said, I'm still very sceptical about Alexis Sanchez, leaving the football club, because Manchester United find it very, very difficult, to offload him. Want to give you a bit more additional information as well in regards to Romelu Lukaku. Now, I have been updating you about Romelu Lukaku on a regular basis. Now, potentially, we do know that Lukaku has been relentlessly linked to move to Inter Milan. Obviously, reports suggested out earlier on this week that obviously, Lukaku's agent had obviously, held negotiations with Inter Milan's officials, because I think Lukaku's agent is obviously, he's working very, very hard, try and get his client move to Inter Milan and all that. But he did say, they've held current negotiations. But Lukaku's agent had come out and he basically said that Inter Milan are desperate to sign Romelu Lukaku. But he did say that Lukaku's move to Inter Milan is complicated, obviously reflecting on the huge transfer fee that we've put on Romelu Lukaku, because, we've said we want around £80 million. So basically, we're looking to recoup the money that we did pay for him from Everton a couple of years ago and all that. But I think Inter Milan are struggling to meet this valuation at the moment. So Inter Milan are trying to offload a couple of their players, to help them generate funds, to meet that £80 million valuation and all that. Obviously, Antonio Conte has identified Romelu Lukaku as his number one target. Obviously, reflecting back a couple of years ago, Antonio Conte wanted Romelu Lukaku. This is when he was Chelsea manager, but obviously he ended up making the move to Manchester United. And obviously recently Lukaku described Antonio Conte as one of the best managers in the world. So probably Lukaku is keen on playing under Antonio Conte's guidance, because probably Lukaku believes he'll flourish under Antonio Conte's guidance and all that. Obviously there has been quite a few players on our agenda, if Lukaku is to leave, who could replace him at the football club. But reports suggested out, last month, saying that allegedly Lukaku had agreed the personal terms with Inter Milan, and it also said he had agreed a deal allegedly with around £180,000 a week. But talks have been ongoing for several weeks now, between Manchester United and Inter Milan. Manchester United have been in Inter Milan have been in negotiation with us over coming to an agreement on a fee, but we've said, we want around £80 million and all that. But I think we've got to get rid of him anyway because he's one of the problematic players in the football club. Obviously, Lukaku is surplus to requirements at Manchester United. Obviously, he was exceptional in his first season with the club, but didn't really replicate this in his second season because he has been at Manchester United 2 years. He scored 42 goals for the club in 96 appearances in all competitions. But under Mourinho, Lukaku was first choice, but since Mourinho's departure and since Solskjaer's been recommended in, Lukaku has found himself surplus to requirements because Solskjaer's preference has been Marcus Rashford ahead of Romelu Lukaku, and I think Lukaku doesn't want to be a second choice, so this is maybe one of the main factor reasons, of course, why he does want to leave the football club. But I think Lukaku definitely wants to make the move to Italy and all that. But like I said, I've got strong reservations about him anyway. But even though I've got strong reservations about Romelu Lukaku, I still, think his pedigree is very, very good in the Premier League. I think his ratio is very, very good. He has scored a lot of goals in the Premier League and all that. But I've got a strong reservation about him. Obviously, we are unwilling to accept, swap deals that Inter Milan have offered us. Obviously, Inter Milan have tried offering us Mario Cardi as part of the deal for Lukaku. They've also tried offering us Ivan Perisic plus cash for Romelu Lukaku. But Manchester United, of course, haven't entertained any of these offers. Obviously, as well, Inter Milan have inquired about getting Romelu Lukaku on a 2-year loan, with then the obligation to buy for the further £60 million at the end of the loan. But again, Manchester United, of course, haven't entertained this offer, so we're only willing to let Lukaku go on a permanent deal. But like I said, he's been subject to a lot of transfer speculation. But now recent reports are coming out saying that Juventus are now in for Romelu Lukaku, and I think Juventus were in for him at one point a while back, and I think he did say at one point Lukaku's preference was a move to Juventus and all that. But maybe again the huge transfer fee we've put on Romelu Lukaku, this could be a stumbling block for Juventus, because like I said, with Juventus, they're doing good business in this window. I think they've got Adrian Rabiot in, obviously they've got Aaron Ramsey in and all that. They got Ronaldo last summer. Initially, I thought they got Ligt, but they haven't got Ligt as yet. So maybe Juventus, wouldn't be able to afford Romelu Lukaku outright. But it does say Juventus maybe are orchestrating on hijacking Inter Milan's move for Romelu Lukaku. So it does say now reportedly Juventus, of course, have entered the race. But anyway, I think Manchester United, definitely need to get rid of Romelu Lukaku, because I think if we sell Pogba, if we sell Lukaku, that will help us with our rebuilding process, and of course it'll help us with our transition. Don't forget, Pogba and Lukaku are our two most expensive signings, so I do believe we can generate around £200 million for their current departures, at least in my current opinion and all that. But like I did say, there has been quite a few players on our agenda, who could replace Romelu Lukaku at the football club. But I do believe it's looking very imminent that our next two signings are probably, going to be quite honest with you, Sean Longstaff from Newcastle and Bruno Fernandes from Sporting Lisbon. Now, as I've been updating you today on a regular basis about Sean Longstaff and all that, obviously, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer instructed Manchester United, to get a deal completed for Sean Longstaff sometime this week and all that. And I think it did, as you say, we had been given a boost in our pursuit of Sean Longstaff, following the departure of Rafael Benitez from Newcastle and all that. And he did say earlier on this week, reports were suggesting saying that we was willing to make our first formal offering, and it said we was willing to offer around £15 million plus add-ons. But there's been a change of scenery now. Initially, at the first, Newcastle said they wanted from between 25 to 30 million pounds from him now, but there has been a change of scenery, because I've been reading Sky Sports, like I said, it does say now Manchester United are preparing to put a bid in for Sean Longstaff, but reportedly now Newcastle have indicated out that Sean Longstaff is not for sale, and I think they are reluctant to currently offload him. And he did reportedly, Sky Sports News have been informed that Sean Longstaff is going to cost us more than £50 million, so I think Newcastle are demanding that they want at least £50 million. So now, due to this hefty price tag that Newcastle have put on him, Manchester United now could drop their interest in Sean Longstaff. But I still think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is keen on getting a deal over the line for him. Obviously, he is only 21 years of age. Of course, he's British, and obviously Ole Gunnar Solskjaer wants to recruit British talents to Manchester United this summer. He has had a bit of experience under his belt. Obviously, broke into Newcastle's senior squad last season. Obviously, he made his debut in December of last year. Recently signed a new contract with Newcastle, so I think he signed a 4-year contract, so he is under contract with them until 2022. Obviously graduated from Newcastle's youth system and all that, so began his career with Newcastle. I still believe that Sean Longstaff is regaining he's still recovering, he's regaining full fitness and all that, because obviously he'd sustained a knee ligament injury back in March and all that, back in March, yeah, and I think he didn't play the last couple of months of last season, due to this injury he had currently sustained. Also, Sean Longstaff has had loan spells with Kilmarnock, and he's also had loan spells with Blackpool, so he did say, looking at it, he could be our third signing this summer. Obviously, comparing Sean Longstaff and Bruno Fernandes from Sporting Lisbon, obviously Bruno Fernandes is more experienced, and obviously if we get Bruno Fernandes in, obviously he's assured to get straight into the first team and all that. With Sean Longstaff, I would be sceptical about that, because if he comes to Manchester United, I don't know if he will, get straight into the first team, to be quite honest with you. Same with Daniel James, we've got Daniel James on the board, but I'm sceptical about him, getting straight into the first team and all that. So, like I said, with Sean Longstaff now, they're demanding £50 million. Newcastle now, we could actually end our interest, but maybe not. We may still go in there to get to go prioritise a transfer and all that. So maybe we won't withdraw our current interest in the current player. But like I said, we probably could say Sean Longstaff as an adequate replacement for Paul Pogba. Obviously Newcastle, I think, have just lost Perez, I think that's his name, and I think Leicester have just currently confirmed the signing of him. So I think Newcastle are reluctant to currently offload him. So, and I think he did well last season, did Sean Longstaff, though. I think he thrived under Rafael Benitez's guidance. I think he played around 11 games, and he got awarded this new contract, based on his impressive performances and all that. But yeah, I still believe we are in there with Sean Longstaff. With the news about Bruno Fernandes, not much more additional information is updated about Bruno Fernandes. If I'm going to be quite honest with you, obviously no fee has yet come to an agreement between Manchester United and Sporting Lisbon, so the fee does seem to be the stumbling block at the moment. But obviously reports came out on Monday from the Italian press, and they were basically saying that Manchester United have agreed personal terms with Bruno Fernandes. Manchester United have reached an agreement with Sporting Lisbon and all that. Obviously, it reported out earlier on this week that Bruno Fernandes' agent had travelled to the UK to allegedly thrash out a deal with Manchester United for his client. So basically, I think Bruno Fernandes' agent is looking for the best possible deal for his client. I think his agent has held negotiations with Manchester United. I think he's also held talks with Liverpool. He's also held talks with Tottenham. Recent reports actually indicated out that Tottenham and Liverpool had withdrawn their interest in Bruno Fernandes. It did allegedly say Manchester United are the only team now in the running, to currently sign the player and all that. I think now Bruno Fernandes is seduced. He's been seduced by Manchester United, because obviously we've offered around 4.5 million to 5.3 million a season in wages to him. Now I think he's ecstatic with his offer, and now he's keen on making a move to Manchester United. But obviously Sporting Lisbon have currently said obviously they are willing to offload him, but they've said they want around £55 million. Manchester United want to get him for around £32 million, but obviously this is too insufficient for Sporting Lisbon. And Sporting Lisbon's president, the president of Sporting Lisbon came out. I think it came out from Sky Sports a couple of days ago, and he did say that there has been talks with Bruno Fernandes about his future. But I think the president of Sporting Lisbon have said Sporting Lisbon will accept around £53 million for Bruno Fernandes. But I think he will be a good adequate replacement for Paul Pogba. Only 24 years of age and all that. I think his initial release clause is around 88 million, is it? He's under contract with Sporting Lisbon until 2023. I think he did sign a 5-year contract last summer with Sporting Lisbon. Obviously he's been at Sporting Lisbon a couple of seasons, but him coming to Manchester United, he'll make a massive impact in our midfield. He'll rejuvenate the team. He'll get us them goals that we need in that midfield, and he can also create as well as score goals. His movement's really, really good, and him coming to the Premier League, will rejuvenate his career, and it will take his footballing career to the next level. Last season he scored 31 goals in all competitions for Sporting Lisbon in around 50 matches. So his stats are very, very impressive indeed. Obviously he spent the majority of his career in Italy when he was younger, with the likes of Sampdoria and Udinese, and I think he also played for Novria. But I think we've been considered the favourites to sign Bruno Fernandes at least for the last 3 to 4 weeks, maybe even longer. But a board of the Portuguese press did report that we've offered around 4.5 million to 5.3 million a season in wages to Bruno Fernandes. But obviously reports are still indicating out saying that Manchester United have not yet come to an agreement on a fee with Sporting Lisbon. So probably we may hold more talks with, with Bruno Fernandes' agent over coming to an agreement on a fee, because the fee seems to be problematic at this present time. So I'm still very confident, we can get a deal over the line for you. It could be made official sometime next week. But like I said, I still believe Tottenham in there for him. Liverpool, obviously reflecting back around, was it 7 weeks ago, it was looking like Manchester City were going to get a deal concluded for him. But obviously, he confirmed that Manchester City had withdrawn their interest in the current player and all that. But he has been subject to a lot of transfer speculation. But I think he's attracted, Bruno Fernandes is actually attracted to the history and mystique of Manchester United. But did confirm, I think it was the other week actually, that Solskjaer instructed Ed Woodward. He instructed Ed Woodward, to speed up a deal to sign Bruno Fernandes. So yeah, so probably looking likely our next two signings are going to be Bruno Fernandes and Sean Longstaff from Newcastle, depending on whether, maybe we actually may withdraw our interest now in Sean Longstaff, based on Newcastle's hefty price tag and all that. But initially, at the first, Newcastle wanted around £20 million plus add-ons, but now all of a sudden it's gone up to £50 million. If whether Manchester United are willing to pay this or not, I do not know. I don't know. Obviously, as we all know, there's been other midfielders on our current agenda. Obviously, Yari Tillemans, but I think Yari Tillemans now is probably totally out of the equation coming to Manchester United, because I think Leicester are closing in on getting Yari Tillemans for around a club. I think Leicester are set to get him for around £40 million. I think it will break Leicester's transfer current record and all that. So I think he's going to be going to Leicester as Yari Tillemans, because Leicester have been in talks with Monaco for several weeks over getting a deal concluded, because obviously Yari Tillemans had initially being on loan now with Leicester, of course, since January. Quite a few teams have inquired about his services. It still says Manchester United have made contact with Yari Tillemans' representatives over a possible switch to Manchester United and all that. Again, I think he would be a good adequate replacement for Paul Pogba, but it's looking likely, Leicester are going to get him a deal over the line for him, so I'd say he's out of the equation. The vast majority of Manchester United fans are still talking about James Maddison from Leicester, and I like James Maddison a lot. I think he's a really, really good player, only 22 years of age, primarily an attacking midfielder and all that. He did allegedly say that James Maddison is interested in making a move to Manchester United, and he did reportedly say that he wanted to meet up with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Well, obviously he's had a year of experience under his belt in the Premier League. It was his debut season in the Premier League last season with Leicester. Obviously created more chances than any other player in the Premier League last season, and was involved in 14 goals last season, so scored 7 goals, provided 7 assists. Still got 4 years left on his deal with Leicester, and all that. Leicester did pay £20 million for him from Norwich last summer. But yeah, very, very good player. He came out about these stories about, was it 3 or 4 weeks ago, and he did say if Leicester are willing to offload him, they would want around £60 million for him. But again, I think he would be a good replacement for Paul Pogba. Obviously, as I updated you as well earlier on this week, I haven't read a much more additional information about him, quite recently, but I'm reading up, like I said, earlier on this week, in regards to Dani Olmo from Dynamo Zagreb. Like I said, he has, been subject to a lot of transfer speculation, and he did reportedly say, that Manchester United were interested in signing Dani Olmo. Of course, he's only 21 years of age. Like I said, he plays for Dynamo Zagreb. Reports earlier on this week said Manchester United had submitted around a £35 million bidding for him, and I think Dani Olmo is aware of this speculation. He's aware of this speculation, but I think his actual preference is either a move to the Premier League or the Bundesliga, but so many teams have inquired about his services. But I think his agent, Dani Olmo's agent, came out earlier on this week, and he indicated out that Manchester United are interested, of course, in signing his client. He's an attacking midfielder. He can also play as a winner, so he can play on each flank. So he's very, very versatile, and I think he's been at Dynamo Zagreb, since 2014. I think he joined them at just the age of 16 and all that. And I think in all competitions for Dynamo Zagreb, he scored 26 goals in 102 games, I think. And I think he's created around 21 assists. So his stats, of course, very impressive. He's still got 2 years left on his contract with Dynamo Zagreb, as you know, Dani Olmo. Before he was at Dynamo Zagreb, obviously, he was a product of Barcelona's academy, because he was in Barcelona's youth academy for around 7 years and all that. But quite a few teams have been in there for him, but I haven't read much up about Danny Olmo later. And I think he did admit earlier on in the week, that he's attracted to the Premier League. So again, do you think he'd be a good replacement for Paul Pogba? Obviously, in the last couple of days, we do know there has been a lot of talks about Saul Niguez, as currently going on from Atletico Madrid. Now, I do believe Manchester United we've identified him as our number one target to actually replace Paul Pogba at the football club. Obviously, we do know that Saul Niguez is actually going to cost a substantial amount of money because I think Atletico Madrid looking at it are reluctant to offload Saul Niguez, but maybe they would consider offloading Saul Niguez, of course, if Manchester United were preparing to pay his release clause. His release clause, I think, is around £135 million. Saul Niguez is only 24 years of age, but I think maybe the club are orchestrating, selling Paul Pogba, generating the funds from Paul Pogba's departure, then putting them funds on Saul Niguez from Atletico Madrid. But more than likely, would have to trigger Saul Niguez's current release clause and all that. If we had any chances, of course, of getting him on the board, he can play as a central mid. He can also play as a defensive midfielder. He has spent the entirety of his career with Atletico Madrid as Saul Niguez, and I think he's played around over 200 games for them in all competitions. Obviously, Saul Niguez signed a new 9-year contract a couple of years ago, so I do believe he's still got around 7 years left on his contract. I think Manchester United have touched base with Saul Niguez's representatives over the possible move to Old Trafford this summer. Saul Niguez has also been linked to move to Manchester City, so I do think he would be a good replacement for Paul Pogba. So there has been so many midfielders on our current agenda. I do believe Manchester United definitely need a right winner. We've definitely got to get a right winner in. I'm sceptical at the moment about Manchester United getting a winner in. There's been quite a few winners on our agenda. Obviously, there's been talks about Jadon Sancho. Obviously, there's been talks about Nicolas Pepe from Lille. Bale's obviously still getting mentioned and all that. So I think Manchester United do need a current winner, someone who can link up with the likes of Martial in Rashford in our current attacking line and all that. So we definitely need to get a right winner in. But I hope Ole Gunnar Solskjaer can take us forward, because I think he's got all the I hope to say he's got the abilities and the stature to get us in that commanding position, of course, where we do currently want to be. But analysing the majority of this squad is not Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's, even though when he did manage the Manchester United reserve team, he watched some of this team at this day and age grow and develop and all that. The only players that are Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's at the moment that he's currently bought are Daniel James from Swansea and Wan-Bissaka, of course, from Crystal Palace, and he's still inheriting 11 of Jose Mourinho's players. We spent just under £400 million under Jose Mourinho. Obviously, he's still inheriting players here from the Louis van Gaal era. He's Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and we spent over £200 million under the Louis van Gaal era. There's still matter here from the David Moyes era. Initially, Fellaini was here, but obviously Fellaini left back in January. And there's still 4 or 5 players here from the Alex Ferguson era that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, of course, is inheriting. So there's a lot of money has been invested into the club, since Alex Ferguson retired. We've had different managers with different philosophies. Players have come in, and of course, players have gone. But we have been a toxic club for the last 5 or 6 years. And the main factor reason why we've been a toxic club, because obviously we've been mismanaged. This is the main factor reason why, of course, we have been underachieving and all that. This is the main factor reason why we have been currently underachieving, but we've got to get the right players in this summer that can elevate Manchester United forward and get us back, to being a competitive elite level football club. But like I said, Solskjaer was a great player for Manchester United for 11 years under Alex Ferguson, and he flourished under Alex Ferguson's guidance. And I do believe now he's following Alex Ferguson's philosophy and all that. Like I said, he believes he's following a policy that proved successful under Alex Ferguson and all that. Obviously, Solskjaer is obviously orchestrating on bringing young players in that can grow, develop and emulate into superstars and all that. But quite a few people said, look, we should be sensible with our recruitment this summer. But I said, regardless of who our manager is, no one is going to ever follow Alex Ferguson's legacy. We're never going to achieve with what we achieve.
Oh dear.
What are you doing? What are you doing?
Go down for a drink, Anna. Do you want to go for a few pints with your dog?
Don't know. I don't know. But yeah, like I said, no one's going to ever follow Alex Ferguson's legacy and all that. But hopefully, like I said, he can take us forward. But yeah, that's mainly everything to update for today, guys. I just wanted to give you a bit more additional information about Harry Maguire. Also, I wanted to keep you up to date what's going on with the Ligt, and also I wanted to give you the latest news about Romelu Lukaku. We always give you all the latest news on this channel, and I always really look forward, to giving my own opinions, of course, on what's currently going on. So anyway, guys, drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe. As always, and take care. God bless, guys. Maybe doing more video later on. If I don't do one later on, I will be back on tomorrow morning as usual. So take care. God bless, and I'll see you all again very, very soon.